Definitely 5 stars. Definitely in a book hangover. I need to stop doing that. Okay. This country whose citizens prided themselves so much on being better than the rest of the world could not make it through an afternoon tea without borrowed goods. Okay. Of course, it wouldn't be dark academia without murder. He kind of reminded me of Damon from Vampire Diaries. I feel a little crazy. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. As you can probably see the title, today I'm going to be reading Babel by R.F. Kuang. Yeah, I don't know how, but I've decided that 2024 is going to be my R.F. Kuang year because I hadn't read any of her books before this year, but my first book of this year was Yellowface, and that was absolutely insane. If you read it, you know that was a train wreck that I enjoyed reading, and yeah, like that was so good. And I literally have all her books. I've had the Poppy War series for I think 3 years now, and I just haven't picked it up because I've heard that it's gonna make me cry and it's gonna be emotional and like all that. And it's a fantasy series. It's 3 books. It's chunky. So yeah, I will get to that at some point this year as well. But starting with this chunky one before, and just 1 second to appreciate this dust jacket because look at that. I'm excited to meet whoever these people are, but yeah. Anyways, reading vlog for Babel by R.F. Kuang. Let's get the dust jackets off. Another reason I remembered that I wanted to read this really soon after reading Yellowface is because there was one line in the book that was like a quote from something else, and I remembered that this book's tagline was that, which is an act of translation is always an act of betrayal. I remember reading that in Yellowface and I'm being like, wait, like is this like connected somehow to Babel? I'm sure it's not, and the author probably just likes that quote a lot, but because of that I really wanted to read this next, and because I've heard so many good things about this. But wow. I've had this book also, I mean less than a year now, but still, like I've had it for so long, but I never opened, like I never took the dust jacket off, and wow. Yeah, the tagline, an act of translation is always an act of betrayal. Yeah. How many pages is this? Okay, 500 plus, 542 pages. It's gonna be chunky, and I've been in a slump for so long, so I don't know what possessed me to start a 500-page book. But oh, these also came with the dust jacket, like character cards, I guess. Yeah, so pretty in the back. Anyways, okay, gonna start reading. Love a book with maps. Oh, there's also a bookmark. Stages of becoming a dark academic. Anyways, okay, finally starting the book. Okay, it's set in Oxford. Oh, okay. This is also beautiful, and I just found out that Babel is a building. I mean, should have been obvious with the, what's it called? the cover, even like the original cover, I had no idea. Before I actually properly start reading, let me just say I have no idea what this book is about. I have not read the back, I have not read anything. I know it's dark academia. I know it's set in Oxford. Now I know that. And that Babel is a building. And that's like pretty much all I know. Yeah, but the first line already is like so interesting that I'm pretty sure this is gonna be great. And not at all what like I imagined it to be like. I don't know. Anyways. Chapter 3. Okay. Whew. I'm almost at page 50. Read the first 2 chapters. This book is chunky. Yeah. So far, I am really enjoying it. I mean, obviously it's been very much just introduction and like setting the whole book, I guess. Yeah, I mean, right, the book is in 5 acts, so this is just like act 1 where like we're getting like the background and like how the main character like grew up and like basically his past that led him to Oxford. So yeah, very interesting so far. I'm really intrigued by the silver, what's the name for the thing? Silverworking. Yeah, silverworking. I'm very intrigued by that because it kind of reminds me of this book, not this book, one of my favorite books called Lexicon, where they would use words to like kind of manipulate people, like as if like it was magic, and like it also had like Latin and Greek and like all that in it, and like a school for that and like things like that. And then in this there's like silver, and that is kind of like magic. Like it has words in like Latin, I think, or Greek, and like they make things happen. Like just the whole silver working thing seems very intriguing, and I'm very excited to get to that part. But yeah, very dark academia vibes, very, you know, Latin, Greek, and like all that. But yeah, so I am excited for the rest. I think, yeah, since I've just gotten to the part where he's now going to be going to Oxford, I think the things are gonna start happening now. So I'll start that tomorrow so I can actually like give some time to like read a bunch or like a chunk of it tomorrow. Hello, it is Sunday and I'm gonna continue reading Babel. I'm excited to read more and get to the part where it starts blowing my mind, I guess. So I'm gonna try and read like at least 100 pages, get to like the 150 page mark, because then I think the world building and, you know, exposition, I guess, will be done with, and then the real stuff will start. I mean, I feel like it'll already start right now because he just got to Oxford. So yeah, let's see. I need to stop doing that. Okay. This book is taking an insane turn. in a really good way though. I just finished book 1, part 1, act 1, whatever. It's good. It's good so far. Okay, definitely not what I was expecting. Like with the, not magic, but like whatever kind of magic there is, and like people disappearing, doppelgangers, etc. Oh, okay. I just read something that changed a lot. It's definitely going much faster now that they're in Oxford, and like we've got the friend group. Oh, that reminds me, that must be them. Wait, I didn't even think of that. But now I know who these people are, which is exciting. We've got our 4 main characters, and we've got, if you read what I was underlining in that annotation, things are gonna happen. They're not gonna be friends for long, which is gonna be sad. But yeah, I can sense some good stuff coming my way. So I'm on chapter 7 now, page 120. I think I'll read 1 or 2 more chapters right now and then see how I feel, because I mean the main thing just started. Like he just accepted, if you've read it, you know, he just went and made the mark on the tree, if that makes sense. Anyways, so the real stuff's gonna start now. And yeah, chapter 9, annotations. Really good so far. Very dark academia vibes, and like, yeah, I really enjoyed the scene where Robin goes to that dinner party, and like the whole spiel that he says there. That was very cool. Don't know how this is all gonna play out, because obviously because of the foreshadowing, I know that something's gonna happen where these 4 are not gonna be friends anymore, and like are gonna betray each other or whatever. And then there's also things with the society and like how it's gonna go wrong, because it is going to go wrong. So at some point he's going to get caught. So yeah. So I ended up reading like half of chapter 9. A lot of fireworks happening outside today. So if you're hearing that, that's what that is. Anyways, I read half of chapter 9, and so far chapter 9 has been my favorite chapter, just because there's like so much more like interesting stuff about language, and like, you know, where words came from and like things like that, which I just find really fascinating. So learning, where some words that I use came from, and like just like some of the arguments about silver working, and like, you know, how it works, and like the way it's thought out is really interesting. And yeah, I'm just having a great time with it. So one of the ones that I didn't know the origins, but I found it really fascinating because I knew the original word and the translation but never connected the two. Anyways, basically chit, for like piece of paper, chit, came from Marathi's chithi, which is like letter or note, and like in Hindi too, chithi is like letter. So just, I don't know why I never connected the two, but like it's really interesting to see that. And like coffee we knew from like kawa, and like Arabic kawa, and like yeah, coffee came from Dutch coffee, which came from Turkish kahve, and then Arabic's kawa. So yeah, anyways, there's so many, like there's like an entire paragraph of those, and like it's just really interesting. Anyways, I'm going to continue this chapter. Oh my god, this is written so well. Like for typhoon, and like typhon from Chinese, and like Caribbean. Yeah, anyways, and how it just originates from Latin, and like the Latin and Greek. Yeah. I'm explaining this so badly, but it's just so well written. I'm yeah, and just the way it's showing, like how it's incorporated in the silver working, and like how other words, how words in other languages are losing meaning because they're being borrowed, stolen into the English vocabulary. Like how gratin is not an English word, but now everyone knows what gratin is, or like saute, and like just, and how the words are losing their potency because they're being adopted into the English language. And like just, and like there was a line, how English did not just borrow words from other languages, it is stuffed to the brim with foreign influences. And yeah, it's just yeah, this country whose citizens prided themselves so much on being better than the rest of the world could not make it through an afternoon tea without borrowed goods. Like, wow. So good, so good. Book 3, yeah, really loving it so far. Not much happened. Yesterday I ended up reading a couple more chapters instead of just chapter 9. So yeah, I read chapter 9, 10 and 11 yesterday, and then today just now I read chapter 12, which led me to book 3. And yeah, not much happened in this chapter in terms of the storyline, I guess. Just more build up, and like now he's out of the Hermes society. Don't think that's gonna be for long anyways, but we'll see. Anyways, gonna continue. I think I'm not halfway, but like getting there. So let's go. Halfway through now. On chapter 16, just finished the interlude. That was from Rami's perspective. And yeah, I have literally no thoughts because there's so much going on. Yeah, I did kind of figure that he wasn't the only one in the society, I just didn't know who it would be. I didn't think Letty would be in it. Like, she seemed the least likely to be in it. She could still be in it. I don't know. Maybe later we're gonna find out they all were in it. But yeah. Anyways, especially when, you know, where Robin was like, maybe I hallucinated seeing Anthony at the bookshop or whatever. I was like, nope, that means he's definitely part of the society. And then I remembered that they'd mentioned that Anthony was kind of close to Victoire. So then I guessed that she would also be part of the society. Didn't know about Rami, but yeah. Considering his character and the way he is, I felt like he would be great for it. So makes sense that he is also in it. Yeah. Interesting. Interesting stuff. So it's just so well written. Like, there's like so many annotations and stuff, if you can see what I'm making, and like, yeah, like it's quite annotated so far. Anyways, I'm gonna take a little break and then continue reading in a couple hours after I finish some work. So yeah, I am halfway done. I've read this much. I have this much more to go. I'm gonna try. So far I've read like 70 something pages today, and I'm thinking I want to read at least 50 pages more. Let's see, or at least get to like, because right now I'm on book 3. I want to get to at least book 4, so I just need to read like, yeah, 50 more pages approximately to get to book 4. So I will most likely do that today, and maybe even read more. Yeah, let's see. But really enjoying it so far. Okay. Anyways, I didn't end up reading more yesterday, so I ended up only reading about 70 pages. And I'm so glad, because if I had tried to get to book 4 yesterday, I know I would not have been able to stop. Yeah. Crazy. Anyways, the dark part of the dark academia genre just came in. I mean, it's been there throughout, to be honest, but like it just got so much more darker. And of course, it wouldn't be dark academia without murder. um, yeah, interesting turn of events. Feel like there was a lot of foreshadowing that like it had to happen. Like, as soon as the professor had told him about what Griffin did to Evie, and like given him the bar, and like I feel like in that moment, like if I just thought about it a little more, dissected it a little more, like it would be obvious. Like, he is going to use it. It's not just there for like no reason. There has to be a reason the author put that in the storyline. But also, yeah, just insane stuff. Like, yeah. Also, we knew he was gonna snap at some point. Like, the way he was living and the way everything he was doing was contrasting with what he was feeling, and like just all of those things. Like, he was bound to snap, and he did in such a such a way. Wow. But yeah, I really liked that conversation that Robin had with the commissioner in China before the whole opium thing happened and they left. But yeah, I really liked that, and the way that was written, I guess. Shit's gone down already. Things are gonna happen now, and they're all I don't know what they're gonna do, but yeah, it's the four of them now who have to deal with this. Um, so yeah, I am going to continue reading. I have this much left. Anyways, crazy stuff. So good. I just love language a lot. I feel like the way words and like how they came to be and like things like that. Like I really enjoy that kind of stuff. And um yeah, I don't know. And like especially I don't think I've mentioned this before, but I started learning Mandarin earlier this year. Like that was one of my 2024 goals. So I've been learning it slowly, like doing like 15-20 minutes of Mandarin every day. Obviously, it's gonna take a long time before I'm anywhere near like conversational level or anything, but it's just a nice hobby to have, I guess. Yeah. So it's really nice in this to see like some discussions about like words that are like Chinese words and Chinese characters and like learning small words that probably are not going to, you know, be coherent for me anytime soon for me to actually ever use them, but it's still nice. Like there's this one part where Robin was talking about the Chinese character for Dawn and how like there's like a top character and then the bottom line under it, and like how the top character is literally the character for sun. So it was like one of the basic pictography, uses of pictography, and it's showing how like the sun is rising, and that's the word for dawn, and like it's basically just a line and then the sun above it, the character for sun. So yeah, I don't know, like just seeing those kind of things, like I find it really fascinating. So yeah, anyways, book 4 now. Crazy. I saw it happening. Like I figured, I think a little before book 4, I'd figured how it was going to go down. Like I had an inkling, and when they were at the old library and discussing like what they're gonna do and stuff, then like it became even more obvious what the final act would be. So yeah, and I saw Letty's thing coming a mile away. I think I saw it like when she was first introduced in the book. Like I knew she would betray them, like literally. It was so obvious. Yeah, also love Griffin. He was great. I don't know why he kind of reminded me, like, not their dynamic, but just him and like how he would talk to Robin. He kind of reminded me of Damon from Vampire Diaries. I think it was just the hello brother. Every time he said it in the book, I was just like transported back to the first episode in Vampire Diaries. Anyways, love him. I really like, obviously it was really sad when he died, but just really loved, like this is the, I think, chapter 24, yeah, last paragraph of chapter 24, like the way it's described and like how it sums up Griffin and Sterling and that cohort and that batch just is so well written and so well done. Like I don't know, it just made me feel things. And like also like the bottom footnote where like they talk about how Anthony, Griffin, Sterling and Evie all had the same kind of friendship, feeling of home, or like, all that with each other the same way that Robin, Rami, Victor, and Letty had is just so chilling. Just to see how, the comparison between the two, but also seeing how that batch, like, is all dead now because of each other, and how this batch, the characters from the book, are kind of pretty much following the same pattern. So yeah, crazy. Yeah, I can't talk about Rami yet. I'm not okay. That was insane. I knew it would have to have happened to someone, and obviously it won't be Robin. Victoire would have been even more devastating, because if Letty killed Victoire, yeah. But even Rami, like, I'm not ready to talk about that. Yeah. And just, I don't think I'm imagining it. And like, there's like subtle hints or like something that is like, that kept telling me that Robin is in love with Rami and Rami is in love with Robin, or like, just they love each other, like, but nothing ever came to be, and now he's dead, which is just so freaking annoying. Yeah, it's quite devastating. Yeah, why? Literally, why? I just love the whole concept of them being at the old library, and like the whole, gave it kind of like a, not a dystopian vibe, but like how most dystopian books have like that revolution, and then there's like a hiding spot, and there are people, and like they join them, like that kind of vibe that's in dystopian books. So that was nice, I guess. Yeah, I swear to God, if Victoire also dies, don't know what's gonna happen. That's just too much. Just some of the lines in this book, insane. Like, there's this one part where they're at the professor's house, and there's like all these Chinese trinkets and stuff scattered around the house. And so Rami says, how strange to love the stuff and the language, but to hate the country. And Victoire replies, not as odd as you'd think. There are people after all, and then there are things. I narrated that so badly, but it's just insane. And also just the moment when Letty found out about the Hermes Society, and like found out that they were all a part of it and stuff, and like in the end, like she was crying, and like how the end of that chapter is just, it's so powerful. It would seem a great paradox, the fact that after everything they had told Letty, all the pain they had shared, she was the one who needed comfort. Yeah. Insane. Anyways, we are now at Letty's interlude. I'm gonna read the last 100 pages now. Yeah. Everything's about to go down, and I am so ready for it. And I'm done. I feel a little crazy. I have a book hangover. Absolutely insane. so good. I wish, though, I mean, overall thoughts, but like first and foremost, like about the ending, I do wish they had shown a little bit more of what, you know, not the result, but like just like the result of what they did, but at least like something, like a little, like obviously if I think about it, I know like the possible result of what they did and stuff, but I don't know, I just wish there was a little bit more. Yeah, and I also wish, I mean, this might make sense to other people, but maybe but it doesn't make sense to me. Like whatever, from Griffin's letter, whatever she said that it said, I want to know what that means. And like the last scene where like they suddenly takes you back to like the first day or the second day that Robin was at Oxford with Rami, and like their friendship, and like okay, I just read some like Reddit threads discussing the book, and like specifically the epilogue where Victoire talks about the names that were mentioned in Griffin's letter to Robin. And since Robin and Griffin are both names of birds, and the 3 names that Griffin mentioned in the book, in the letter, are also names of birds, like the theory is that he has more brothers somewhere, or like half siblings basically somewhere in the world, and that, you know, as he said, we're not the only ones. So Professor made it a habit, I guess, of impregnating Chinese women so that he could make them, you know, turn them into translators for Babel, basically. So that's intense. I wish that's just makes it even worse, because if he had just read that letter before, maybe it would have changed things for him, maybe not, but like obviously we don't know. But yeah, my main thing is just I wish we get a little bit of a glimpse of what happens, even like in London, in Oxford, like what the aftermath looks like, just because we only got the epilogue from Victoire's perspective, which is her life, and like, you know, what she's doing next, and like, you know, whatever happens next, or what's in store for her, basically. But yeah, overall insane, absolutely insane, so freaking good, so many good lines, like it's so well written and makes you think so much, and like just, yeah. I also just love when like the plant and payoff is just so well done. Like the way it ended is literally how it started, kind of. And like just the parallels between, you know, how he was like waiting to die in the beginning, sitting by his mom, and then at the end how he was waiting to die after blowing up the tower, and like just so many things. And like how in the beginning they were told the one thing that they should never make into a match pair for is translate, and like how that's the whole basis of what they do and what they are, and like their entire purpose, and like that is in the end what destroys them, and like what they use to get the power in their favor and stuff. Like, don't know if any of that makes sense. I'm still just like very much, yeah. some of the Reddit threads comments were like that maybe she's gonna write a sequel and stuff, but I don't think so. I don't think this needs anything more. I don't think this should be touched anymore. Like, this is just great as it is. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's not, I mean, there is obviously scope. There's always a scope for a sequel, but I feel like where it ended is good. I feel like, I don't know. Let's see. I mean, obviously, if there is one, I will end up reading it, but yeah. Now you can tell why I chose these colors. It matches better with this dust jacket, so yeah. And I use them all, so yeah. Definitely 5 stars. Definitely in a book hangover. Yeah. Wow. Literally only have read 3 books so far this year, and 2 of them were by this author, which is quite crazy. And also just like how good both of them were, I literally don't know how I'm gonna pick my favorite book for the month, because there's Babel and then there's Yellow Face, and like I don't know how to choose. But yeah, the back's also pretty. Anyways, this was the reading vlog for Babel by R.F. Kuang. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you guys enjoy it. I will see you guys next time. Bye.